Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are undertaking a deep analysis into, well, the one strategy that truly separates proficient language users from those who always seem to struggle.
And that's how to stop translating in your head.
Exactly. We are focused entirely on establishing what the experts are calling the direct path. It's this cognitive bypass that allows you to start thinking directly in English.
Right. Which eliminates that lag, that inefficiency that just, kills fluency.
It really does.
This is truly the final frontier for so many language learners, isn't it?
I think so.
And we've compiled a wealth of research, practical steps too, specifically designed to guide you through this cognitive shift.
So our mission today is really to move beyond just like a list of tips.
Definitely. We want to dissect the underlying neurological mechanisms. We want to show you exactly how to train your brain to prioritize English.
Building that genuine, rapid fluency.
And maximizing your efficiency, really, by cutting out that costly translation step. It just takes up so much mental energy.
Okay, let's unpack this. The core issue, it feels like it's less about just speed and maybe more about capacity.
That's a great way to put it.
Capacity.
We often frame that translation lag purely as a time drain,
Right?
But it seems much more insidious than that.
It really is.
When a thought originates in your native language, your brain has to dedicate precious working memory. That mental workspace you need for complex stuff, reasoning, sentence construction. It has to use that for performing a conversion idea in language 1.
Right.
Then look up the language 2 equivalents.
Check the structure.
Verify the structure, then speak. That inefficiency must be a massive barrier, especially for complex communication.
Precisely. That extra unnecessary step in the middle. It's not just slowing down your words, it's actually preventing complex thought sometimes.
How so?
Well, if your brain is totally occupied with translating basic structures, you literally don't have the mental resources left over to handle advanced tasks.
Like what? Like organizing a long argument, or using subtle humor, or, reacting spontaneously if a conversation takes an unexpected turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're constantly playing catch up.
Exactly. And your cognitive engine is just always running too hot. It's exhausting.
Right. So the sources, they really drive home the point that translation is a genuine, measurable time drain, obviously.
Of course.
But if we look at the data from, say, a performance standpoint, it's really that cognitive cost that truly matters.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating here is how quickly that translation habit depletes your cognitive reserve.
That little pause you feel.
Yeah, the momentary pause you feel when you're translating, that's basically the sound of your working memory grinding away.
Wow.
So by the time you've managed to deliver even the first simple sentence, you might already be feeling mentally fatigued.
Which makes the next sentence even harder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when you achieve that direct path, it's not just that the words just come out faster. It's that your mental energy is entirely redirected. It goes towards what you want to say rather than how you should say it.
That makes sense.
And that's the core engine that builds true sustainable fluency.
Okay. And when you start thinking directly, the research seems to highlight 3 main advantages, right? And they kind of interlock and build on each other.
That's right. They compound quickly.
So first, the most obvious one, fluency and speed. This comes from establishing, what was the term? Automaticity.
Automaticity, yes, that's key. It just means retrieving words without conscious effort.
Like not having to think about it.
Exactly. It's the difference between, say, looking up a word in a dictionary every single time you need it,
Right.
versus having it instantly available in your mental database. When you speak automatically, there's just no delay. That leads to that rapid delivery that sounds much more, well, native-like.
Okay, so speed is one. Second, and this feels really crucial for actual communication, is naturalness.
Very important.
When the thought process is direct, you eliminate that sort of unnatural hesitation caused by translating.
Yeah, the stop-start feeling.
Right. The language starts flowing in its own rhythm, and you kind of naturally adopt the native cadence, the intonation patterns.
Which makes your speech sound authentic,
Yeah.
Not rehearsed or robotic.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And that ties into the third benefit, which maybe people don't think about as much, confidence and control.
Oh, hugely undervalued. When you're not constantly fighting your own brain for the right word,
Yeah.
you just feel completely in charge of the language. The self-efficacy, this feeling of, I can do this, it's vital.
So you shift from feeling like you're sort of performing English.
Exactly, to feeling like you genuinely possess English, like it's yours.
Okay.
And this feeling of control It drastically reduces the anxiety that holds back so many otherwise advanced learners in real-time conversation.
Right, that fear of making a mistake or sounding slow.
Pres-
So the goal isn't just speaking faster, it's fundamentally changing the neurological routing of thought. This is what the researchers are calling shifting into English mode.
Precisely. We're literally talking about establishing a direct neural connection from your thoughts or the concepts themselves directly to the English lexicon, the words.
So your brain just bypasses the native language filter entirely.
It does. Think of it like a train line, maybe.
Mm.
Before, every thought had to stop at the translation station.
Okay,
Now we're trying to build an express track straight through.
I like that analogy.
And this shift defines genuine internalization. The language processing becomes so integrated that the English word becomes the concept itself.
Wow.
The moment you achieve that level of automaticity, you feel that fantastic feeling of being totally and, well, effortlessly in control.
That sounds amazing, obviously, but it also sounds daunting. How do we, as listeners, actually start building that express track, especially if we're really, really ingrained in that translation habit?
Right, good question. And this is where we start small, really small. Okay. See, many learners make the mistake of trying to translate, I don't know, complex philosophical thoughts right from the beginning.
Yeah, that sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It's guaranteed to fail. The core principle here is deceptively simple. Start small and use your existing vocabulary, whatever you already know.
So don't worry about trying to form complicated sentences yet.
Absolutely not. Do not attempt complicated structures. The goal here is purely habit formation, not vocabulary expansion. Not yet, anyway.
Okay, so we're focusing on interrupting that translation impulse, but in the easiest possible scenarios.
Exactly. We need to focus on easy, everyday concepts, things that require minimal cognitive effort.
Let's maybe provide our listeners with a sort of toolkit then. Specific, simple scenarios they can use to start practicing this internal switch, like right away.
Great idea. Begin with fundamental states and immediate direct observations. These happen constantly, all day long, and require basically no abstract reasoning.
Okay, like your physical state.
Perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than letting the native phrase for "I'm hungry" pop into your head,
Uh-huh.
intercept it immediately with English. When you feel that hunger setting in, don't think a longer phrase like, "Oh, I am considering what time I should stop for lunch." No, just the simplest possible thought. I'm hungry. If you're tired, think I'm tired. If you feel chilly, I'm cold.
Keep it really basic.
Super basic. And you can extend that to momentary physical reactions, too.
Like if you stub your toe.
Exactly. Instead of yelling in your native language, think, "Ouch, that hurts." If you sigh in relief about something, think, "Finally."
Okay.
If you have a momentary lapse of memory, instead of the native phrase, think, "I forgot." These are immediate, they're often emotional, physical anchors. They're fantastic for bypassing translation.
What about quick needs or intentions? These seem good for short declarative sentences.
Absolutely. If you need to check the time, don't think the question in L1. Think, "What time is it?"
If you misplace your keys.
Immediately think, "Where are my keys?" Not the L1 version. If you realize you need to leave, think, "Time to go." Another perfect starting place is sensory observations, focusing purely on immediate stimuli. What's outside your window right now?
Okay.
If the sky is gray, think it's cloudy. If the street looks busy, think many cars. If you happen to smell coffee brewing somewhere, think that smells good.
These observations are quick, direct, and kind of non-judgmental, aren't they?
Exactly. They don't require deep thought.
And you mentioned earlier, even simpler microstarts count.
Hugely. Thinking yes or no or maybe okay or even great in English consistently, rather than just defaulting to your native equivalent.
Uh-huh.
That is already training what I call the interruption muscle.
The interruption muscle, I like that.
The sources really emphasize that every single instance, no matter how tiny it seems, reinforces the new neural pathway. Every little bit counts.
So the key takeaway for this phase, it seems, is volume and consistency, not complexity.
Precisely. You're using the most basic building blocks you already own. If you only know 100 words, fine. Use those 100 words repeatedly in different direct associations.
The focus is just on establishing the comfortable habit of direct English thought. Comfort, not perfection.
Exactly. We're building a foundation.
But doesn't this risk creating a kind of fragmented, really simplistic internal monologue? Like you're just thinking in caveman English.
That's a really valid concern, and yes, initially it might feel like that, but that's why this is just phase one.
Okay.
We accept the simplicity at the beginning, Yeah. Because we are fighting a deeply ingrained neurological reflex, the reflex to translate.
Right.
We are not yet focused on creating eloquent internal dialogue. We are laser focused on establishing the reflex to connect concept A directly to English word B.
Right. Once that reflex is solid.
When we can move into forming more complex sentences and thoughts.
Yeah.
But you need the foundation first.
Okay, so phase 1 is about those tiny, immediate reflexive thought.
Right, getting the basic habit down.
So once those 1 or 2 word reflexes are starting to feel a bit more automatic, we need to elevate the practice, right?
Exactly. We move to full sentence formation through active internal practice. This shifts the focus from simple reaction to deliberate, continuous narration.
Right. This is what one of our sources called the mental scavenger hunt, which I thought was a great term.
It is good, isn't it? And it's a wonderful low-pressure tool.
Because you're doing it all in your head.
Exactly. There is absolutely zero performance pressure. No one can hear you. You are simply narrating your surroundings and your actions, which forces the brain to generate constant English output.
Okay, let's maybe expand on the examples here. Make them really high context and specific for listeners.
Good idea. So imagine you are sitting in your office right now, or maybe a coffee shop. You'd run a constant commentary in English in your head.
Huh?
The lights are bright. My screen is showing a report. Okay, I need to open a new tab. The person next to me is wearing a blue jacket. Just noticing things.
Or if you're commuting, that seems like prime time for this.
Oh, perfect time. Look around and narrate the scene internally. The bus is crowded. The traffic light is red. Oh, I see a dog walking on the sidewalk. Those skyscrapers are very tall.
Or even, I am listening to the Deep Dive podcast right now.
Exactly. Meta-narration.
Huh? Okay. What about at home? Like cooking?
Great context. Narrate the process step by step as you do it. Okay, I'm chopping the onion. The water is boiling now. Right, I need to add salt and pepper. Careful, the pan is hot.
This forces the retrieval of all that specific vocabulary, doesn't it? Procedural words, object names.
Yes, directly linked to the action.
And crucially, the sources say, extend this to observations about abstract qualities or feelings, too.
Yes, don't just see an apple and think apple.
Mm-hmm.
Think, perhaps, this looks like a delicious apple because it is crunchy and sweet. Or maybe it looks a bit bruised.
Right, or if a task feels difficult.
Think, okay, this task is challenging, but I know I can finish it. You're adding layers.
Okay, and the connection benefit here. Why is this so important neurologically?
It's profoundly important. When you look at, say, an onion, and you consciously think, I am chopping the onion, you are forging a strong, specific neural link between that physical action or the object itself and the English description. That makes the retrieval automatic the next time you need that phrase in a real conversation. It's direct association.
Got it. That immediate observation practice seems powerful, but it's still kind of passive, right? It's all internal.
True. It's receptive and descriptive.
So the next stage of internal practice requires more active generation, talking to yourself.
Yes, the classic technique. It might sound a little funny or maybe even slightly crazy to some people.
Ah, maybe.
But it is incredibly effective. This means holding silent, structured conversations with yourself. Narrating your actions, yes, but also planning your day or arguing through a problem, all silently in English in your head.
Okay, let's give some examples of what this kind of private practice session actually looks like. It's not just narrating, I am walking.
No, it's more involved. Start with planning. You might think, okay, I need to schedule my meetings for tomorrow. Should I tackle the big presentation first, or should I answer my emails? You're weighing options in English.
Or self-correction.
Great example. Thinking, oh, I shouldn't forget to pay that bill, right? I'm going to set a reminder immediately. Using modal verbs, planning future actions.
Or what about reacting to, say, internal frustration or making a decision? Maybe you lose your place in a document you're reading.
Perfect. You might think, ooh, where did I save that file? I really should organize my desktop better. This transforms the language into a genuine problem-solving tool used internally.
Okay, and the huge psychological benefit here, the source's stress, is the safety net.
Absolutely. Since no one is listening, you can experiment completely freely. You can try out complex grammatical structures you probably wouldn't dare try in public yet.
Because you're scared of making a mistake.
Exactly. You remove that paralyzing fear of judgment, the fear of error.
So it's the ultimate zero-stakes environment. You're building confidence by allowing yourself to make mistakes internally.
Yes.
Which then makes the eventual transition to speaking out loud feel less intimidating.
Precisely. You've already warmed up the English muscle, as one source put it, repeatedly, in private, with no risk.
I like that warming up the muscle idea.
It really fits. This practice transitions English from being just some foreign language you study to being a reliable, everyday tool for your internal processing, for thinking, for planning complex things.
Okay, so we've established the simple reflexes in phase 1.
Yep. The building blocks.
And then the internal monologue, the narration, the self-talk in phase 2.
Getting comfortable with sentences.
Now we dive into the really deep stuff, the true cognitive restructuring, the advanced strategies for fully breaking those translation habits at a neurological level.
Exactly. This is where we really confront that deep-seated habit of associating English words primarily with their native translations. And our high-level strategy, a really powerful one, is to actively replace translations with English images or feelings.
Okay, tell me more about the mechanism there. Why is linking the word apple to the picture of an apple rather than the word for apple in my native language? Why is that so crucial for fluency?
Okay, so it connects to established theories of conceptual memory.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, when you learn a word, ideally, you want that word to trigger the concept itself, the idea of the object, the thing.
Right.
Not just another linguistic label like the L1 word.
Ah, I see.
By forcing yourself to bypass that L1 label and go straight to the visual or the sensory input, you establish a primary, direct, non-linguistic link.
Okay.
The English word becomes the main pathway, the direct pathway to the concept.
So if I hear the word chair, I must actively try not to let the L1 word for chair flash in my mind. Instead, I should visualize a chair, maybe the one I'm sitting on right now, its color, its material.
Precisely. That visual is the meaning. That's essentially how native speakers process language. They hear chair, they think of chairness, not another word.
Okay. And how does this work for abstract concepts? You can't easily picture happiness.
Good question. For abstract concepts, we rely on the emotion-feeling link. So if you encounter the word happy, you don't translate it into an L1 word for happiness.
Instead,
You immediately try to conjure the feeling of happiness, the sensation itself, or maybe a picture of a smiling face, or perhaps the memory of a specific positive event that made you feel happy.
that sounds extremely smart, but also maybe quite difficult to maintain consistently, especially if you've been learning for years that L1 association must be really strong.
It is strong, absolutely. It's a habit.
So how do learners effectively train themselves to stop that L1 word from flashing into their mind first? Is there a trick?
It requires deliberate practice and, crucially, awareness, mindfulness almost. When you catch yourself thinking the L1 equivalent, and you will, especially at first,
Yeah.
you have to consciously stop yourself. Then deliberately visualize the object or feel the emotion, and then repeat the English word several times while holding that visual or feeling.
So it's like a conscious override.
Exactly. It's a form of cognitive behavior therapy, basically, but for your language processing. It's smart, as you say, because it establishes that direct mental link. It trains the brain to associate the English word directly with the concept, making the whole process truly automatic, not mediated by your L1.
Okay, that's robust. It takes effort, but I see the logic. Let's move to the next powerful technique, one that integrates sound, thought, and the physical output. Shadowing and repeating.
Ah, yes, shadowing. This is a super effective technique, especially for improving rhythm, flow, and even pronunciation.
How does it work exactly?
Shadowing is essentially the process of auditory assimilation. You're listening to native English, maybe a news broadcast, could be a dedicated language learning podcast like this one, or even a scene from a video or a song, and you try to repeat what you hear almost simultaneously with the speaker. You're basically their echo, just slightly behind them.
Okay, I understand the repetition part, but why the simultaneous requirement? Why not just listen, pause, and then repeat? That seems easier.
The simultaneous nature is the key. That's the mechanism that forces your brain to process without translating.
Because there's no time.
Exactly. You simply don't have time to hear it, process it in your native language, figure out the English, and then say it. You are engaging your phonological loop. That's the part of your working memory that stores auditory information.
Okay.
And you are actively integrating the sound directly with the production of the word or phrase.
So it forces instant linguistic processing.
Okay.
And the sources also emphasize the imitation requirement. Copying the rhythm, the tone, the inflection.
Oh, absolutely paramount.
Yes.
You are not just repeating words like a robot. You are trying to internalize
Right.
the musicality of the language, the stress patterns, the intonation, where the voice goes up and down.
So if the speaker sounds excited,
You must try to sound excited, too. If they
Right.
sound serious, you try to sound serious. It makes the exercise highly demanding, yes, but also deeply effective because it links the sound, directly to the thought and the feeling being conveyed. It's an integrated training system connecting listening, cognitive processing, and physical speaking into one fluid loop.
I can really see how shadowing bypasses translation because of that time constraint. It's building the physical fluency of the mouth, the muscle memory,
Yes.
alongside the mental fluency. You're internalizing the language patterns, the melody, not just the individual vocabulary words.
Exactly. It builds a strong physical and mental connection. And when you start thinking in those patterns and sounds, the language feels far more natural in your own mind.
And probably less awkward when you speak it aloud then.
Much less awkward. You move past just knowing the grammar rules to actually feeling the structure and flow of the language.
Okay, so we've covered this whole mental restructuring process. Building blocks, narration, rewiring with images, and shadowing.
A pretty comprehensive cognitive workout.
It really is. But all of this advanced work, it risks being undone, doesn't it? If we only treat it like a dedicated study task, something we do for 30 minutes, then forget about.
That's a huge risk. It needs to become part of life.
So we need to integrate English into activities we do every day, almost automatically, turning it from a study subject into just a fundamental tool for life.
That's the absolute definition of internalization, isn't it?
Right.
We strongly advocate for integrating English into activities done every day without even thinking about it.
Oh, so.
This makes English feel natural and easy. It needs to become the default context, the background operating system of your internal life as much as possible.
Okay, let's talk about some concrete integration strategies then. Moving beyond just I'm hungry to using it fully during routine tasks.
Right. Think about your typical morning routine. As you're showering, maybe you could narrate your plans for the day in your head in English.
Like,
Okay, first I need to check my calendar.
yeah.
Then, I have that meeting about the project deadline. I really hope that meeting is short today.
Okay. Or when you get dressed.
Describe the clothing. Right, I'm choosing the blue shirt today. Yeah, this shirt is comfortable. Oh, I must remember to wash the black pants later. Simple observations linked to the routine.
What about technology? We all use phones and laptops constantly.
Perfect opportunity. Set your phone, your laptop, your social media interfaces to English.
Even if it feels hard at first?
Yes. Even if you only understand, say, 80% of the prompts initially, forcing that context means your brain is constantly retrieving English terms for core functions you use all the time.
Like settings or notifications.
Exactly. You'll start thinking, okay, I need to open the settings menu, right? I will clear my notifications now. I need to reply to this email. It becomes automatic through necessity.
What about hobbies? Like cooking or DIY?
Fantastic. If you enjoy reading recipes or following instructions for anything, actively seek out those resources in English. When you're cooking from an English recipe, you're forced to retrieve the English words for measurements 1 teaspoon, 2 cups, and techniques stir, bake, sauté.
And that contextual vocabulary retrieval is way more effective than just memorizing lists of words.
Infinitely more effective because it's linked to doing something real.
So this whole approach, it transforms English from this abstract goal, this thing you study,
into a practical, necessary tool for daily function. It builds a constant connection that gradually overrides the native language default setting in your brain.
Okay.
The more you use English in these small, consistent, almost mandatory ways, the more your brain just recognizes it as the default language for interpreting and navigating your world.
Right. Which leads us to the final step in making all this permanent, creating dedicated English thought habits. This seems crucial for structure and consistency.
Consistency is absolutely paramount because, as we said, we are building a muscle. It needs regular workouts.
So how do we ensure that regularity?
You need to use the power of the micro-commitment.
Oh.
Start with a specific achievable goal that is intentionally non-overwhelming. Don't try to think in English all day tomorrow.
Smaller.
Much smaller. For example, for the next 5 minutes, just while I wait for the kettle to boil, I will only think in English. Or, for the duration of this elevator ride, however short, I will describe the people around me silently in English.
That concept of a micro-commitment feels really key. Less intimidating.
Exactly. And once that 5-minute slot feels easy, maybe even automatic.
Then you gradually increase the time.
Right. Perhaps extend it to 10 minutes during your commute, or maybe 20 minutes before you fall asleep, reviewing your day in English.
And to really lock it in.
Identify a consistent time anchor. This practice needs to be tied to an activity you already do daily, without fail.
Like
Waking up is a great one, or waiting for your bus or train, or maybe waiting in line for your morning coffee. Those unavoidable waiting times are perfect.
So pick one and make it official.
Yes, declare it internally. Okay, this is my think in English time. This ritualizes the practice. It makes it a non-negotiable mental routine, like brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
You are actively scheduling the time to exercise your cognitive bypass.
That systematic, consistent effort, even if it starts small, is what really moves the needle dramatically over time.
It's the compound effect in action. #Chag outro.
Wow. This has been a true deep dive into cognitive rewiring, hasn't it? Really focusing on dismantling that translation habit piece by piece.
It's a journey, for sure.
We covered the whole path, understanding the cognitive load translation imposes.
Why it's such a barrier.
Right.
Yeah.
Then starting with those really simple building blocks like, I'm hungry.
Phase 1, crucial.
Moving into that active internal narration, describing your surroundings, talking to yourself.
Phase 2, building the sentences.
Then the deeper stuff.
Right.
Actively replacing translations with concept images and feelings, practicing shadowing for that integrated fluency.
Phase 3, the real rewiring.
And finally, building all of these techniques into daily, consistent habits so it actually sticks.
Exactly. Remember, the process is systematic. It moves from just intercepting the reflex in Phase 1 to really restructuring the cognition in Phase 3.
Every step is designed to interrupt that old habit.
And forge that faster, more direct neural path.
Okay, so it's time for our final challenge, something immediate and actionable for you, the listener, right now.
Yes. Don't just absorb this information passively. Apply it right now. As you are perhaps getting up to do the next thing in your day, whatever that is, we want you to initiate a brief, structured internal narration. Ask yourself, okay, what is the very next thing I need to do, and how will I do it?
And describe that process in English.
Yes, in your head. If you're about to pick up your phone, think, right, I am reaching for my phone now. I think I will check the notification first.
Or if you're preparing to walk away from where you're listening, think, okay, I need to stand up now. Must remember my keys. Just use simple, direct, present tense words. Don't overthink the grammar.
Just use the words that come to mind instantly.
Exactly. Force that English thought pathway, just for a moment.
It really will make a massive difference in your journey, won't it? Those little moments compounded. Huge difference. And remember the long-term impact here. Every single practice session, no matter how small it feels, helps solidify that English thinking muscle.
You're not just learning a language.
No. You are permanently optimizing your cognitive landscape for a level of fluency and confidence that, frankly, simple grammar study alone can never, ever achieve.
Keep practicing, keep thinking in English.
You've got this.
And we will be back soon for another deep dive.